Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Welcome to my video on the left, right, length, mid, find, and search functions in Microsoft Excel. Oftentimes in counseling research, we need to modify the values found in specified variables. These set of functions can help us to make certain modifications to these values. So let's start with the left. So I have here the value to modify, and notice this is a number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And if I want to extract the left 4 digits, it'll be fairly straightforward. The function left, the text, and then the number of characters that I want to extract. And that's how I arrive at this value 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, of course, it's easy to see that this is correct because this is a number, and of course, it's an order, so the 4th character is 4. Now, right works the same way, except from the other direction. So if we wanted the rightmost 4 characters, we would select the text, in this case in cell B3, and then the value 4 for number of characters, and we have 6, 7, 8, 9. Now the length variable returns the total length of the value. So in this case, len and the text gives us 9. And of course, there are 9 digits here. Now mid is a little more complex. Mid gives us a value in the middle of a string. So we start with mid, we select the text, and we provide a start number. In this case I'll use 3, and then a number of characters which count from the start number. So it'll be 5. So you can see we started at 3, so that's why we have this value returning beginning with a 3, and then the number of characters from this value is 5. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we have a total of 5 characters. Notice that in the 5 value, the number of characters, that includes where you started. So if I were to change this to a 2, the number of characters, it'd be 3 and 4. So it'd be the start value and plus 1 more. That's how the mid function works. Now the find function allows you to locate a certain string inside of another string, and it is case sensitive. The search value does the same thing, but it's not case sensitive, and it allows you to use what are called wildcard variables. So let's start with the find function. In this case, it'll be find, and the find text, which will be 4, and then within text, which will be this value here, B3. And you can see it's finding the number 4 at the 4th position, which of course makes sense. Now in this instance, search would work the same way. So let's search for the character, the value 7 within cell B3. And of course, it returns the 7th position. That's where the number 7 is located in this string. So let's now apply these functions to a different example. Say we have a value in a specific variable that reads age : space 55 space years. So age 55 years. And we want to extract just the age 55 and truncate the years. So we would use the left function. The text will be B5, and the number of characters will be 7. So if we count from the left, we have 1, 2, 3 for age, 4 for the colon, 5 for the space, and then 6 and 7 for the 55. So that's how we get the 7. So I want to make an important point about the spaces here. You can see that using the number of characters 7, we have age 55. But if we were to change this to 8, it would look the same. But really there's an extra space. So it would be age 55 plus this extra space. So I want to make sure that it's 7. And similarly, if we want to find if we want to extract just the years value, we want to make sure we use the value 5. So it'd be right, then B5, and number of characters 5. Now, of course, if it were 6, there'd be an extra space in the beginning. And it may be hard to tell without looking closely. So you want to make sure you count the number of characters. In this case, of course, the string years is 5 digits. Now, the length of this entire string is 13. This is fairly straightforward. Length, and then the text. But let me show you how this changes. Now, say this age 55 years was misentered and it had 3 additional spaces added to the end. You can see that that changes years here, this to just RS. It took out the Y, the E, and the A. And it lengthens what length reports, because the string is actually now 16 characters and not 13, but only 13 are visible. So Excel has a convenient function to address this issue. It's the trim function, and I'll just incorporate it into this function I already have here in length. So it'd be length and then trim B5. And you can see now it returns the 13 because trim will remove all the additional spaces at the end of the string. So it doesn't remove the spaces in the middle of the string, like the one after the colon or the one after the 5, but it removes the spaces at the end of the string. And similarly, we could use it to correct the right function so that it returns what we want. Now you can see it returns it to years, which is what we wanted. So if we want to extract just the number 55, you can see the coordinates are 6, and then of course it's 2 digits. So it would be mid and the text, starting with character 6, and then 2 characters. That gives us the 55. If we want to find where the value years starts in the string, where the substring years starts in this string over here, fairly straightforward. It would be find and years. Now remember, find is case sensitive and search is not. So if we type it in correctly, it'll return 9, which is the location of where years starts, where the word year starts. But if I were to change years in this function to a lowercase y, it returns an error. It's case sensitive, it's looking for years or lowercase, and it cannot find it because it's not contained in that string. So similarly with the search function, here we could use lowercase, it would not matter. Search years, and then within text, cell B5, and it returns the 9. So again, in this example down here, first space middle space last. So to get just the name first, we know it's 5 digits. So it'll be left, the text, and then 5. Similarly, for last, we know that's just 4 digits. So it'll be right, the text, and 4. The length is always fairly straightforward to calculate. So the length of this whole string is 17 characters. If we want just the word middle, we would put in mid, the text, and we know it starts at 7, and we know there's 6 characters in the word middle. If we want to find the S, now keep in mind there are 2 S's in the string, so to find the first one, we would use the find function, in quotation marks, the letter S, and of course the within text is the string, and you can see the first S appears at position 4. And that makes sense, because we can see it's F-I-R-S-T for first, so S is the 4th digit. But what if we wanted to know the position of the S in the word last? I'll show you using the search function. Of course, you could do the same thing with the find function. The find text here would be S. The within text, cell B7, and we can assign a start number. So this will ignore every value before the start number. So if we put something like 10, the search will start at 10, and we can see it returns 16, which is the second S in the string. And just to quickly show you, if we changed, in this case, search to find, it returns the same value. So in this instance, they are interchangeable. So now let's take a look at the wildcard feature that I mentioned earlier that's available in the search function. It's not available in the find function. So we have a variable that contains values like this one. You have 3 letters, then you have a Z, in this case 3 numbers, and an X, and then some other numbers. And we're interested in finding the position of the Z only if it's in this format where it has a few digits and then an X. So for example, other possible codes would be Z12X, Z3456X, but either way we know it begins with a Z and it ends in an X. So for this type of value identification, in this case we know it's going to be 4, we're going to use the search with the wildcard feature. So it would be search, quotation mark, the Z, and then an asterisk, and then the X. That's the find text, and of course the within text would be the string. Now of course I'm using a different example down here that has 4 digits in between the Z and the X. So you can see it returns position 5. Well, not only are there 4 digits between the Z and the X, but this has an A, B, C, D. So it's going to be 5 and not 4. So what this function is asking Excel to do is to look for the character Z and then any number of unspecified characters and then the character X. So it wouldn't matter if it's the 4, as I have in this example here, or 100. The function would still work. If you only wanted 1, so if it needed to be z and 1 character and then an x, and z and 2 characters and x would not work for you, you would use a question mark. So it would be z question mark x. But for more than 1, it's an asterisk. So what if we wanted to extract the value z, all the values in between it, and the character x? So the letter z, the letter x, and everything in between, regardless of how many values are in between, and regardless of how many values precede the z. So you can see in this case, there's 3 characters before the z, but in this case, below it, there's 4. So to do this, we'd use a combination of the mid and search functions. So we'd start with mid, and then, of course, specify the location of the string. And the start number would be the position of z. And, of course, the string, so that would be b9. The number of characters would start with search function of x, and of course in the string, b9, minus 1, or plus 1 rather, plus 1, and then minus the search value, the search location for z, z's location in the string. So it'd be search z in cell b9. So as you can see, this returned the letter z, all the numbers in between, and the letter x. So if I were to change this string and add an e, it doesn't change the result. So this is dynamic. It'll change with the different values in this variable. Similarly, I could add 5, and it'll still return the correct value. So I want to show you in this function, if you did not want to include the x, if you just wanted it to be z and the numbers, you would just take out the plus 1. If you also wanted to exclude the z, so you just wanted the numbers in between z and x, you go back to this function, and for the start number, put plus 1, and then either after the search x b9, you would subtract 1, or after the search for z b9, it wouldn't matter. Either way would work. Just put a minus 1, and you can see now it returns just the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So because the asterisk and the question mark are special characters, what happens if we have a value like this, ABC asterisk 1, 2, 3? How can we find the position of the asterisk? Because it's a wildcard character. So the way we would do this, using the search function, would be find text, the tilde, then the asterisk, close quotation, and of course the text. So the tilde lets Excel know that you want to search for the value that comes after it and not treat that value as a wildcard value. Because the tilde is also a special value, what if we had Let me delete this function. What if we had a value here of ABC tilde 1, 2, 3? How could we search for the position of the tilde, as that's a special character? So again, it'd be search, and the find text would be tilde and then another tilde. And the within text, of course, the string you want to evaluate. You can see it returns the correct position. So in the next two examples, I want to address a common use of these functions. Say that we're looking at a value like this. We have January and then a hyphen and then score and then the score. And we want to extract just the value before the hyphen. Now in this case it's a month, and of course it could be another month, like in the example I have here, it's May. So we don't know how many characters will necessarily be in the value that precedes the hyphen. So let's start by taking a look at the search function to locate the position of the hyphen. Right, so we know this would be search, and then quotation marks with hyphen in between, and the within text, of course, would be the string. So we can see that here the hyphen appears at the 4th position. So May has 3 characters in it, and then the hyphen's at position 4. So we can use the left function in combination with the search function we used over here to just extract the month. So it would be left, the text, and the number of characters would be the search function, looking for that hyphen, the position of the hyphen, within, of course, the same text. But in this case, we're going to subtract 1 because we just want the month. We don't want to include the hyphen. And you can see it gives us just the month. So what if we had a similar situation, but from the opposite side of the value? So we have a month, a hyphen, a score, but we don't know how many digits the score will be. In this case, it's 80, but in this case, it's 115. And we want to extract just the word score, a space, and then the actual score. So we're going to have to combine 3 functions to make this work. So let's start with the find function. So first we need to find the hyphen. So that's fairly straightforward. Find the hyphen in this text. You see here it's at 7. Of course up here it's at 5 because June has 4 characters, but down here it's 7 because August has 6. Then we'll need the length of the string, the total length. So that'd be length and then the value or the location of the string, and that gives us 16. So this string has 16 characters in it. So now we can combine what we learned about the find function and the length function to extract just the score and the score value. So just the word score and the score value. So it would be write the location of the string. The number of characters would be equal to the length of the string minus the find value for hyphen. So you can see that gives us the score and the space and then 115. So if I were to change this and it was, instead of 115, it was 1150, it would still extract the value that we were looking for. I hope this video on the left, right, length, mid, find, and search functions was helpful to you, As always, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to contact me, and I'll be happy to assist you.